Sanmonani guys, welcome back to yet another video. Guys, there's a theory that I have come to actually know of, and I think this theory fits so well into the dynamic of the Mseleku household, which is that a man can definitely be a terrible husband and yet a good father. And I think maybe that's why sometimes we see certain women staying in um, toxic marriages or toxic relationships, for instance, where people are like, I'm doing it for the sake of the kids, because yes, he might not be treating you as the mother well, but the guy seems to be there, very present for his children. The children love him, and you feel like, or maybe they feel like, in a certain way, that they'd be breaking up the family dynamics. And I think it's important for us guys to be able to distinguish between the two, because these two are not the same. A man being a father and a man being a husband is not the same. Just the way of with a woman, a woman can be a good mother, but be a terrible wife, or can be a good wife but a terrible mother. Like these roles are not the same, guys. One person can carry these roles and still carry them out differently, because they expect and they require a different side and aspect of you. I've heard certain people say that, or go to the certain extent of even saying, children, there can be 5 children staying in the same house, you guys, brought up by the same parents, but still have a different experience of those parents. And I want to bring it back to Mseleku. um, he has many children, but I don't think his children have experienced him in the same way. If I am being quite honest, you guys, Mseleku loves his family. When it comes to his kids, that man loves his kids. He loves his kids. But I think his kids have experienced him in a different way. I partially think one of the reasons why we seeing so much friction with Usne and her siblings is that perhaps the way Mseleku is present and parenting his current children, which is Pumelelo, Abo Lwandle, Abongwe, Abompilo, is different from the way he parented Usne at the time she was around their age. And maybe that could partially be one of the reasons why she feels like he doesn't love her, because he was not as present as he is for these children. But I want to leave out the other children, and I really want to speak about Abongwe and her mother, which is Umatsele. I'm talking about Abongwe because I know Abongwe and Mseleku have quite a close relationship. Before I go on, or let me just start with Wabongwe and Mseleku. Now, guys, when we go to Umatsele, I don't know, maybe it's subjective of whether he's a terrible husband or not, but I think the majority of us can agree that we don't really like and necessarily agree with the way Mseleku treats his wives. I think Umatlele is a perfect example, because I feel like there's so many sacrifices that Umatlele has made, guys, for the vision of this man to come to fruition. So even the last season of Uthando Nestembu, quite frankly, Umatsele was tired, because she felt like there's so many promises that Musa Mseleku made to her that have still not been fulfilled to this day. And quite frankly, the attitude she's having is like, listen, do whatever you guys have to do. Like, I am out of it. Like, I just want to live my life, basically. So to a certain degree, we could say that he is not the best husband, especially to Umatsele. Or I don't know whether I want to say especially to Umatsele, or let me just keep it to Umatsele. Because there's just so many things that she has said where he has put the needs of other wives first before Umatsele's needs, and he has most especially put his needs for his vision above his vision for Umatsele. So to a certain extent, I do think he would possibly fit the description of not being a good. Okay, maybe that's extreme. I don't know. Maybe he'd fit the description of not being the best husband, right? But when it comes to his relationship that he has with Wabongwe, you guys, and it's such I like this. Like what made me think about this is the last episode of Izingane's Temple. I'm looking at Wabongwe sitting at their table, and the moment her father's name comes up in this whole situation, she actually says in a diary session, they're actually even bringing up my father now, and this matter is starting to irritate me. You'd expect just because Msele would treat his wife, the wives, the way he does, that you'd expect the children to have some sort of hatred towards him, or to have some sort of grudge towards him, or to not be fond of him at all, or at least you'd expect Ohabongwe, because she must at least have a glimpse of the sacrifices her mother has, made the stuff that her mother has been through because of Umselegu. You'd expect her not to have a good relationship with Musa, or you expect her not to even get angry at the fact that his name is even coming up in the table. But the girl loves her dad, you guys. And that's why, as children, it's important ukuthi don't ngena indaba zabazali, because the relationship they have is not the relationship that you have with them. So the thing of taking sides between parents is forever going to rob you. And I must, to a certain extent, also commend Umatlele, because maybe she also has played a hand in the way her children have been receptive of Musa, even of Umayeni, because if you look at these children, guys, they respect their father. I don't want to lie. They respect their father, and I don't think they would respect their father like this if any of their mothers was trash talking Umusa, or if any of their mothers was talking bad about Umusa. But Abongwe and Umusa are so close, you guys, and I thought it's a beautiful analogy of what I was saying, that a man can be a terrible husband and yet not a perfect, because I mean there's no perfect parent or there's no perfect person. He can be a terrible husband or a bad husband and yet be a good father. And as women and as people, I think it's important for us to distinguish between these two, or else we're going to rob ourselves, number one, of the beautiful experience, and number two, we're going to rob our children of the opportunity to really get to know their fathers. I don't think for the fact that Umusa is not a good husband takes away from the fact that he is a good father, because these things are not the same thing, you guys. And I want to bring it back to Umpumelelo, when we were talking about Umpumelelo, and Vicky basically saying you won't be able to raise your kids and all of that. And I'm like, I was quite frankly saying that, it's unfair for a person to say that of Umpumelelo, because my analysis of what I've seen of Umpumelelo, you guys, he tries. I know there's a lot of things that we speak down about Umpumelelo when it comes to his decision making, just the way we speak about a lot of things when it comes to Umusa, but when it comes to his children, we all know that. We can't deny that fact. We can't deny the fact that holistically he loves his children, though when it comes to the individual children, then it's kind of a different thing, because he loves them in a different type of way. So I think it's true with Umpumelelo as well, you guys, and especially with Umpumelelo and Uvuyogazi. I've voiced out my concerns that I really do hope that they get to a place of where they can co-parent in a healthy manner. Because Uvuyogazi should never ever take the issues that she has with Umpumelelo and then directly translate that to him not being a good father, because these things are not the same thing. I remember like a lot of people having to say that, and I remember one comment actually even said that if we were waiting for Umpumelelo to actually grow up, something along those lines. And I thought to myself, children don't wait for you to grow up, you guys. We've seen this many times, even in our families. You will have a woman who's a drunkard, you guys, and yet her kids love her to death. Or you'll have a father who's doing nonsense, but yet the kids love him to death. And you're not gonna ill or miss or speak bad about their parents, no matter how bad their parents are. So we should never ever rob children the opportunity, guys, of just because they are not good partners to us, then we just like automatically it means that they're not going to be good partners to they're not going to be good parents to their children. People grow, you guys, and we are growing ourselves. We are growing in being a parent. I even believe Uvuyorazi might not be the perfect mother. Other people have came for Uvuyorazi and said Uvuyorazi has not been a present mother for her daughter. And I know the word present is defined differently by other people. Other people might use that word present as she's not physically there. Other people might say, no, she is a present mother because she's in the child's life, but she's not physically there. So like there's a lot to be said there, but I don't believe that Uvuyorazi is a perfect mother. At the end of the day, Uvuyorazi and Umpumelelo, they are young, you guys, and they are going to grow. As long as a person is willing to be there, you guys, they will grow, and we should give people the grace to grow. I also don't believe ukuthi Musa, what we see of Musa Mseleku today, being the mature man, being present in his children's lives today. I don't think it was always like that, and I think Snare is the example of that. I don't think Musa was as present in Snare's life the way he's present in the rest in Abo's life, for instance, right now, because people grow in these things, guys. We all grow in our roles as being parents. You don't get taught how to parent or how to love a child. And hence I was saying that you can have 5 children, and these 5 children can have different comments of their parents, and that's because you as a parent, you have 5 children. These are 5 different characters, and you are basically learning how to love these children in a way that means something to them. And I think that's why we grow up thinking parents have favorites. And yes, there are parents who have favorites. There are parents who have, who voice it out and make it apparent that they make it apparent that that they choose sides. But if you are a parent, you guys, and you have more than one kid, I think you will understand and show a lot more grace to your parents. You start to realize that children are not really, you love them equally, but you don't love them in the same way, and that's because they are different. There's a child that wants affection. They always want to be hugged and kissed, and that's you're gonna do that for them. And yes, you're gonna do that for the other one, but for the other one, those hugs and kisses is gonna mean much more than the other one, because the other one, that is not their love language. For the other one, maybe their love language is, I don't know, watching movies with them. So you're gonna have to do different. You're gonna have to do things differently in a sense for each and every one of the children, so that they feel special, because we don't like to be loved in the same way. Yeah, even though we are born from the same parents, we're not the same. So yeah, you guys, a man, in a nutshell, a man can be he can be a terrible husband and yet be a good father. He can be a good father and yet be a terrible husband. He can be a good pastor and yet be a terrible husband. He can be a good son and yet a terrible husband, or he can be a terrible son and yet be a good husband, because these things are not the same, you guys. But I do think maybe we should also give, a level of grace to people in general when it comes to children, you guys. When it comes to parenting, parents are going through the most, you guys, and sometimes they just don't know what to do. I guess the key thing is just to listen to what your children want and what they really are telling you. But for as long as they are underage, I truly do believe that parents are really trying the best that they can, or at least I want to believe that. But in a nutshell, that is my analysis of Mseleku and his family. might not be the perfect husband, but man, that man loves his kids. And maybe, who knows, maybe we'll say the same thing of Mpumelelo as well, since he's following in the footsteps of his father. Maybe, we don't know. We will see. We will see. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think about my analysis. What are your thoughts about it? Please do make sure you like the video. Please do subscribe. It is absolutely for free of charge. And I'll see you guys in the next one.